One of the most remarkable similarities between Prince Harry and his father, Prince Charles, was when they were the same age. This photo of the two royals shows that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Both exude regal grace and charm, captivating generations. In this video, we'll examine this remarkable father-son relationship and other celebrities' kids who look alike at the same age. These parallels between Hollywood and sports stars show physical similarities and transferred charisma, abilities, and public personalities. Join us as we examine these legendary father-son duos and find surprising similarities. You'll be astonished at how the next generation replicates the previous, revealing that legacy isn't always about accomplishments, but about time's strange reflections. Will Smith, 21, and Jaden Smith, 21. At 21, Will Smith, then known as Fresh Prince, had not yet landed his big break on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Meanwhile, his son, Jaden, whose name was a pun on Will's wife, Jada, was following in his father's footsteps and getting into music. In addition to his love of music, Jaden has become well known for his sense of style and a significant force in the fashion industry. Henry Fonda, 37, and Peter Fonda, 37. Peter and Jane Fonda were born into a wealthy family in Hollywood. Hollywood still holds their father, Henry Fonda, in high esteem as one of the finest performers ever. After making his name in Hollywood, Peter started representing the countercultural movement in 1960. The 1969 hit movie Easy Rider was one of his greatest hits and one for which he received critical praise. Sadly, Peter passed away in 2019. David Cassidy, 28, and Bo Cassidy, 28. For those of you who were there during the 1970s, David Cassidy was undoubtedly one of the era's greatest pop sensations and hotties. His son, Bo, had a later start and made his acting debut in 2014. All of this was made possible by his leading role as Keith Partridge in The Partridge Family. Even though he hasn't had the same impact as his father, he steadily demonstrates that genius runs in the Cassidy family. David Bowie, 47, and Duncan Jones, 47. Born in 1971, at the height of his father's success, Duncan Jones was the son of David and Angie Bowie. We don't need to elaborate on the greatness of the late David Bowie. Instead, we'll focus on his son, who has emerged as one of the leading filmmakers in Britain. Jones is a screenwriter, producer, and director of motion pictures. He is most known for helming the movies Moon and Mute. He was honored with the BAFTA Award for the Best British Writer, Director, or Producer for his work on Moon. Stevie Wonder, 28, and Kwame Morris, 28. With several well-known tunes to his credit, Stevie Wonder is among the most successful singer-songwriters in the world. In the sector, his kid has also discovered his calling. Kwame Morris gained much more than just his father's contagious grin. Kwame, who is 31 years old, has a prosperous music business career. If you thought that his magnificent face was wasted, could you reconsider? Kwame is a successful model. James Brolin, 29, and Josh Brolin, 29. Pursuing an acting career as the son of renowned actor James Brolin is a risk. How could one ever fill the shoes of such a phenomenal actor? Josh Brolin, nevertheless, has succeeded in doing so. Having worked as an actor for over 30 years, Josh has acted in films ranging from The Goonies to Deadpool 2. Tommy Lee, 23, and Brandon Thomas Lee, 23. Being the son of Tommy Lee and Pamela Anderson indicates that you are meant to be a star. At 23, Brandon Thomas Lee decided against following his father's footsteps and joined Motley Crue. Brandon is determined to pursue an acting career and is one of the newbies on The Hills' New Beginnings, choosing not to follow in his father's musical footsteps. Arnold Schwarzenegger, 23, and Patrick Schwarzenegger, 23. It has been shown by former Mr. Universe and California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, along with his son Patrick Schwarzenegger, that not everything falls far from the tree. As an actor and model at 23, Patrick seems to follow in his father's footsteps in prominence, but he is yet to make plans to run for governor. Jack Nicholson, 20s, and Ray Nicholson, 20s. Beyond only looks, Ray Nicholson and his father, Jack, share many characteristics by the time he is in his 20s. One of the most well-known performers of our day is an assistant and second director in Hollywood, and he has also tried his hand at acting. Jack should be pleased with his kid for carving out a successful career and accumulating expertise in front and behind the camera. Ray, we can't wait to see you more often. Jean-Claude Van Damme, 30, and Christopher Van Varenberg, 30. Renowned for his martial arts action films, Jean-Claude Van Damme is a Belgian actor, producer, screenwriter, director, fight choreographer, and former martial artist. His son, Christopher Van Varenberg, has pursued an action film career in the same vein as his father. The father and son have worked on several projects together, including the 1996 movie Quest. Rob Lowe, 24, and John Owen Lowe, 24. As everyone recalls, Rob Lowe was one of the top 80s heartthrobs throughout his adolescent years. John, his son, may not have spent his adolescent years in the spotlight, but he has gradually started appearing in a few projects with his father, including a reality television series called The Lowe Files. He has recently been remembered for his roles in hit shows like Brothers and Sisters and Parks and Recreation. Martin Sheen, 29, and Emilio Estevez, 29. Emilio Estevez, the son of renowned actor Martin Sheen, has inherited some significant acting genes. Sheen, who became well-known in the late 1960s, has two well-known kids, but Emilio, his eldest child, is a perfect replica of his father. In the 1980s, Estevez was part of the Brat Pack and has since established himself in the business. Bill Hudson, 24, and Oliver Hudson, 24. After divorcing Kate and Oliver's mother, Goldie Hawn, in 1980, singer Bill Hudson sadly didn't spend much time with his children. Oliver doesn't feel particularly connected to his father, even though he is a replica of him. This might be why Oliver decided to follow in his mother and sister's footsteps and become an actor. He and Kate co-host Sibling Revelry, a podcast. Jeremy Irons, 33, and Max Irons, 33. There are more traits in the Irons family than beautiful looks. With just one glance into his flitting eyes, you may see Max's well-known father, Jeremy. Max also builds a name for himself in the business and has parts in movies like The Wife and Terminal. British actor Jeremy Irons appears to have played in virtually everything and is best known for his performance in Watchmen. Tom Hanks, 41, and Colin Hanks, 41. Everyone is a fan of Tom Hanks. His career took off at age 41, and he had already won 2 consecutive Academy Awards for Best Actor. Colin, his son, followed his father into the entertainment industry and has gained recognition in Hollywood for his roles in films and television shows. Though he still has a ways to go before becoming as famous as his father, Colin is well on his way to a successful Hollywood career. Some of them are King Kong, Fargo, and Dexter. Val Kilmer, 25, and Jack Kilmer, 25. Jack Kilmer, the son of the legendary Val Kilmer, has done more than many performers his age combined. He has starred in several popular films, including Palo Alto and Lords of Chaos. The Batman actor from Batman Forever started as a stage actor in the middle of the 1980s, but after making several appearances in comedies and fantasy movies, he soon made his way into film. Damon Wayans, 36, and Damon Wayans Jr., 36. One of Hollywood's most well-known comedy families is the Wayans family, and their children are carrying on the family tradition. It's challenging to tell Damon Wayans and his kid is 2 separate persons because they seem and behave similarly. Come on, they are even named the same. In his comedic career, Damon Wayans Jr. followed in his father's footsteps, becoming a successful sitcom star with roles in New Girl and Happy Together. Dustin Hoffman, 39, and Jake Hoffman, 39. Dustin Hoffman's son followed his father into the film industry after graduating from NYU's renowned film school. See what we did there? Jake has written, directed, and appeared in several movies. In 2014, Jake produced his first feature film, Asthma. He has previously directed movies, including Click and The Wolf of Wall Street. Prince William, 5, and Prince George, 5. Having style is a must for becoming the next King of England. Prince William and his son George, who are 31 years apart, looked good in preppy sweaters and had more taste than most people when they were 5 years old. One of the most beloved activities in pop culture has been watching Prince George grow, and we are very excited to see what more the world and his stylist has in store for him. Nicolas Cage, 29, and Weston Coppola Cage, 29. It should come as no surprise that Weston Coppola Cage followed his family into the film business, given his lengthy line of legendary predecessors. Nicolas Cage's marriages with Christina Fulton gave birth to his son. In addition to his acting career, Weston was the main vocalist for the 2012 breakup black metal group Eyes of Noctum. Sean Penn, 26, and Hopper Penn, 26. Sean Penn was just starting out in the acting profession in his early 20s. Conversely, Hopper Penn, his son, began his acting career in his early 20s with a solid foundation. Unfortunately, after his arrest in 2018, Hopper found himself in legal hot water. You should be curious about the source of the other half of Hopper's remarkable good looks, which comes from his mother, the renowned actress Robin Wright. Bob Marley, 36, and Ziggy Marley, 36. Regretfully, artist and cultural icon Bob Marley of Jamaica suddenly died at 36. Despite having 11 offspring, the musical prodigy's almost identical son, Ziggy Marley, stood out in particular. Ziggy, who looks much like his father, proudly continues his father's legacy as a reggae legend while establishing a successful career. Pierce Brosnan, 22, and Dylan Brosnan, 22. Dylan Brosnan seems to have inherited his famed father, Pierce Brosnan's, acting prowess. Though Dylan began his career as a model, he has lately transitioned into acting and had his feature debut in 2019 with the release of Iconic. It's interesting to note that Dylan's father was also starting out at about the same age. Dylan is bound for greatness if he behaves like his father does, so we expect to see his acting career take off. Ice Cube, 23, and O'Shea Jackson Jr., 23. Your kid may sometimes end up portraying you in a movie because of how much he resembles you. In 2015, O'Shea Jr. played his father, an NWA rapper who later became an actor in the documentary Straight Outta Compton, which was about Ice Cube's 1980s group. At 23, Ice Cube was a well-known rapper. At the same time, his kids began to appear in movie roles. Since then, O'Shea Jr. has acted in other movies, including Den of Thieves and Ingrid Goes West. Michael Keaton, 34, and Sean Douglas, 34. Sean Douglas, the son of Michael Keaton, has avoided the spotlight. The actor's son pursued a career as a singer-songwriter instead of following his famous father into the movie business. Like his Golden Globe-winning father, Sean has achieved critical recognition for his work. He was even awarded a Grammy for his song, Die a Happy Man. Jerry Stiller, 44, and Ben Stiller, 44. Could you look at Ben Stiller's father if you ever wondered why he's one of comedy's greatest celebrities? The late comedian Jerry Stiller had a long and prosperous career spanning over 70 years. Part of the humorous acting group known as the Frat Pack, Ben Stiller is best known for his parts in Meet the Parents and Zoolander. He and his father were well known in Hollywood by their mid-40s. Lloyd Bridges, 39, and Jeff Bridges, 39. One finds it difficult to avoid following in the footsteps of one's father, who has appeared in over 150 films. Jeff and Beau Bridges are the acting prodigies of Lloyd Bridges. Jeff may surpass his father in terms of carrying the Bridges name at this rate. Jeff began his acting career in the early 1960s and is most recognized for his appearances in True Grit and The Big Lebowski. Mel Gibson, 28, and Milo Gibson, 28. Mel Gibson is such a well-known actor that it's difficult to believe he was just 20 years old once. At 28, he had just acted in Gallipoli, which is still regarded as one of the actor's best movies. Milo, Gibson's son, has worked in some well-known movies such as All the Devil's Men and Hacksaw Ridge, although he doesn't have as many credits as his father has. Kurt Russell, 33, and Wyatt Russell, 33. Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn know how to have an incredibly lovely family. Despite having played ice hockey for a few years before entering the acting world, Wyatt Russell seems well on his way to permanent fame, having already starred in several films. We find it mind-blowing to see Wyatt again at age 33 and then Kurt at age 33. Wyatt is his father's exact clone. Jude Law, 22, and Rafferty Law, 22. Jude Law was regarded as an actor to watch when he was only 22 and had not yet secured any more significant parts. By the time he was the same age, his son Rafferty had also gained notoriety and was pursuing a career in modeling and music. Rafferty looks much like his father, so we'll assume he'll age like a good wine. David Beckham, 18, and Brooklyn Beckham, 18. Being the oldest son of David and Victoria, Beckham has advantages, but he also faces a lot of pressure. You know, your parents are renowned in their respective fields. David Beckham began his soccer career at the age of 18. Given that Beckham children have been in the spotlight since they were young, it's remarkable that Brooklyn decided to pursue a career in acting and modeling only as an adult. Mick Jagger, 33, and James Jagger, 33. There's a certain quality to artists' sons that inspires them to pursue acting and vice versa. James Jagger chose to pursue a career in acting over music despite coming from a family of legendary rock and roll musicians. The Rolling Stones frontman Mick Jagger's son, Jerry Hall, is a supermodel who has acted in movies such as Vinyl and The Unraveling. Donald Trump, 41, and Donald Trump Jr., 41. Donald Trump has set the path for his oldest son, Donald Trump Jr., who works for his father at the Trump Organization. This apple landed exactly beneath its tree. Trump Jr. has been intimately associated with his father's political ambitions. The businessman was a boardroom judge on his father's reality television program, The Apprentice. Donald Jr. and his brother Eric continued their business dealings and interests abroad throughout their father's administration. Donald Jr. has a striking resemblance to his father, even if he may not have his coloring. Bill Pullman, 27, and Lewis Pullman, 27. After his career took off in the early 1980s, Bill Pullman could get consistent jobs through the next 40 years. His son Lewis has made his way into Hollywood and just won a part in Top Gun: Maverick, the Top Gun reboot. We've recently seen him in the anthology thriller The Sinner. Eugene Levy, 35, and Dan Levy, 35. In addition to sharing a great eyebrow and eyeglasses taste, the father and son from Canada were both well-known movie stars by the time they were 35. Big Levy was the star of SCTV, but Little Levy's ascent to stardom was a little more sentimental. The father and son from Canada wrote, produced, and starred in the amazing film Schitt's Creek. Don Johnson, 38, and Jesse Johnson, 38. Jesse Johnson, the son of former TV star Don, is a spitting image of his father and an aspiring actor, so if anyone is interested in rebooting Miami Vice, they won't have to look far for a lead. However, his performances have not earned the reactions we're guessing Dad Don was hoping for. When Jesse debuted in the 2007 film Redline, the reviews were remarkably negative, and he was even called idiotic. Hey, at least he inherited his dad's good looks. Prince Harry, 6 months, and Archie Harrison Mountbatten-Windsor, 6 months. The resemblance between Prince Harry and his 6-month-old son Archie is unfathomable. Although Harry and Meghan moved to Canada, their childhoods will undoubtedly differ, but that doesn't mean they don't look alike. When Prince Harry's son attended his first royal engagement in South Africa as part of his parents' royal tour, we had to double-check that this wasn't the same baby. Alan Thicke, 42, and Robin Thicke, 42. Though you would have thought that the late actor's son would have followed in his footsteps in acting, Robin Thicke made his way in the entertainment industry as a singer and songwriter, scoring many hits, including the perennially controversial Blurred Lines. They may not have followed the same career path in the industry, but look at that smile. It's uncanny. Alan Thicke was America's favorite sitcom father on Growing Pains throughout his late 30s and 40s. Stellan Skarsgård, 42, and Alexander Skarsgård, 42. Like father, like son, Alexander Skarsgård has landed big roles on the big and small screen recently, including one of the main characters on HBO's critically acclaimed show, Big Little Lies. Stellan Skarsgård rose to prominence in Sweden and later took Hollywood by storm with parts in movies like Mamma Mia. King Charles III, 37, and Prince William, 37. In their mid-30s, Prince William and King Charles III led very different lives. While Prince Charles was 37 years old and had been married for 8 years to the Princess of Wales, Diana, he was approaching the end of his marriage to Diana and had recently welcomed his second son, Prince Harry. Alain Delon, 26, and Elaine Fabienne Delon, 26. Alain Delon became well known as a French movie star in the 1960s. His son, Alain Fabienne Delon, inherited his father's fame and followed in his footsteps by becoming an actor. Given his magnetic personality, it's hardly surprising that Elaine Fabienne enjoyed success as a model and was the face of Dior Homme for many years. The young actor debuted in the movie Fabio Montali in 2001 and most recently starred in Golden Youth in 2019. Clint Eastwood, 28, and Scott Eastwood, 28. Clint Eastwood is one of the few names that immediately come to mind when we think of classic Hollywood. He became well known for his performance in Man with No Name in the middle of the 1960s. His son, Scott, looked a lot like his famous father and pursued acting as a career. By the time he was 28, he was getting roles in The Longest Ride, 2015, and Suicide Squad, 2016. John Lennon, 40, and Sean Lennon, 40. It was natural that John Lennon would have a son with the same name. His father was assassinated in 1980 at the age of 40. Sean Lennon, the Beatles' legacy son, has carried on his father's name and honor as a singer-songwriter, guitarist, and musician. Interestingly, Sean was born on the day his father turned 35. Perhaps the universe recognized that Sean would carry on his father's legacy long after he passed away. Daniel Day-Lewis, 20s, and Gabriel Kane Day-Lewis, 20s. Daniel Day-Lewis is one of the greatest method actors of all time. He has 3 Academy Awards to his credit. Given this talent, you would think that his kids would carry on his legacy. But Gabriel Kane Day-Lewis, his son, has chosen to break away from his father and follow his passion for music, moving to New York City to pursue a career as a musician. Denzel Washington, 35, and John David Washington, 35. Denzel was a seasoned actor who had worked in the business for more than 10 years by the time he turned 35. His son, John David Washington, has chosen to follow in his steps and has made a name for himself in Hollywood with a string of memorable roles that include Black Klansman, The Book of Eli, and the popular television series Ballers. Marlon Brando, 20s, and Tuki Brando, 20s. Tuki Brando's jawline tells you precisely who his relatives are. The French Polynesian model is the son of the late French model Cheyenne Brando, Marlon Brando's estranged daughter. While he may not be an actor, The Godfather's grandson continues the legendary actor's legacy of exquisite looks by working as a model for brands like Versace. Rance Howard, 22, and Ron Howard, 22. Actor Ron Howard gained recognition in Hollywood with his role in Happy Days. These days, directing is his primary focus. His father was also in the entertainment industry. Rance Howard starred in more than 100 films between the mid-1950s and his death in 2017. Both father and son were successful by the time they were 22 years old. Ryan Phillippe, 16, and Deacon Phillippe, 16. Please pardon us while we ogle Ryan Phillippe and his son Deacon. In the annals of father-son lookalikes, we don't think we've ever seen a father and son look so alike. Ryan began his career in show business as a teenager on One Life to Live. He later married his co-star on Cruel Intentions, Reese Witherspoon, and the two went on to have 2 children before calling it quits. Although Deacon has the face for it, it's unclear if his son will emulate his parents' career in acting. Kirk Douglas, 30, and Michael Douglas, 30. Though the two actors were famous for different generations, it's safe to say that they're at the same level of greatness in Tinseltown. Kirk and Michael Douglas had outstanding acting careers and are regarded as two of Hollywood's greatest. At 30, Kirk landed his first role in the film The Strange Love of Martha Ivers, which was the part that launched his career into what it is today. At the same age, Michael Douglas was busy starring in the show The Streets of San Francisco. Donald Sutherland, 52, and Kiefer Sutherland, 52. Donald Sutherland's career began with television roles in programs like Dirty Dozen and MASH. He became a big star in the film industry, having played roles in Ordinary People and 1900. Kiefer's twin son became well known in the 1980s after starring in the movie The Lost Boys, for which he won 2 Screen Actors Guild Awards, an Emmy, and a Golden Globe. Dennis Quaid, 27, and Jack Quaid, 27. Though Dennis Quaid's more significant roles came later in life, at 27, he had a pretty impressive resume. Jack decided to pursue acting as well, and he has appeared in films like The Hunger Games and was most recently a star in the critically acclaimed show The Boys. Once upon a time, Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan were married, and although their marriage failed, one positive thing did come of it: their son. John Ritter, 29, and Jason Ritter, 29. Not only does John Ritter's son, Jason, have a million-watt smile, but his father, who began acting at 28, is best known for his part in the 1970s sitcom Three's Company. Jason followed in his father's footsteps and began appearing in television shows and films in his late 20s. John's passing saddened fans worldwide. But fortunately for us, Jason's good looks make us feel better. Robert Downey Jr., 26, and Indio Falconer Downey, 26. The oldest son of Robert Downey Jr., Indio, almost looks like his father, minus the long hair and beard. Like his father, Indio chose to pursue an entertainment career. He appeared in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, his father's film, in 2005, and has dabbled in the music business as a performer in several bands. Jackie Chan, 30, and J.C. Chan, 30. Like his father, Jackie Chan, J.C. Chan made his name in Asia and became a successful musician before entering the Western music scene. J.C. Chan published his debut Mandarin CD album in Hong Kong and then relocated to Taiwan to pursue his musical career. Gary Busey, 47, and Jake Busey, 47. In the 1970s and 80s, Gary Busey had a phenomenal career, particularly after receiving praise for his performance in The Buddy Holly Story. His son, Jake Busey, has continued his father's legacy by acting in movies such as Starship Troopers, Identity, and most recently, the hit Netflix series Stranger Things. Will Smith, 23, and Trey Smith, 23. Trey is Will Smith's eldest son, though many will recognize him as his more reserved son. He also shares his father's fantastic smile and ridiculously good looks. Although we haven't seen much of Trey yet, he's only had a few minor roles here and there. We can't help but wonder if he'll have the same unwavering energy as his father. Michael J. Fox, 24, and Sam Michael Fox, 24. The fact that Michael J. Fox is pictured with his son Sam gives us hope that Back to the Future will get a reboot at some point. Michael was one of the biggest stars of the 1980s, successfully using his clean-cut good looks and perfect comic timing to create the charming character of the boy next door. Alan Arkin, 42, and Adam Arkin, 42. Though they share a striking resemblance in appearance and name, Adam Arkin started his career as a child actor and went on to star in the werewolf comedy Full Moon High. Adam also made appearances on television shows such as The West Wing, Sons of Anarchy, and Masters of Sex. Adam was nominated for an Emmy for his recurring role as the barefoot and possibly feral chef Adam on Northern Exposure. David Beckham, 20s, and Romeo Beckham, 20s. Romeo, David Beckham's middle son, turned 18 in 2020, and his family celebrated. At that age, David was beginning his soccer career in the Manchester United youth squad. David Beckham's chiseled jaw and sporting achievements made him the most celebrated and sought-after British athlete of his generation.
If you've watched the video till here, that means you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notifications bell icon